Manx Radio Sport.
Hello, good evening and welcome to Manx Radio Sport for a Friday night, looking ahead to this weekend's action. Joining me in the studio tonight, as ever, Tony Mepham from the Isle of Man Football Association, and Ben Cunningham will be here talking hockey. Plus we'll also hear from Dave Christian ahead of this weekend's Rugby 2. So good evening, we've got Tony and Ben here together, and we'll have a quick look at football first of all, Tony, just starting off with FC Isle of Man if we can, because it was a sixth straight defeat in the week at Squires Gate, and now they're looking to put that run behind them tomorrow with the big match at home to Earlham. It is a big match.
It is a big match, and when you look at Earlham in the league table, they're ahead of FC Isle of Man, and people keep saying, about FC Isle of Man, where's it all gone wrong? They're still playing well. It's just they're playing against some really tough opposition, and they're not getting the sort of little bit of luck that they need. And okay, you make your own luck, but I thought the game that they played last time here in the Isle of Man, they played really well up until sort of half time, and then the second half it sort of disappeared. But midweek showed a bit of character, I thought, Dave, because 3-0 down at half time, and you just thought, what's going to happen in the second half? And once Charlie Higgins got one back, make it 3-1, and then Furu Davies scored about 4 or 5 minutes from the end, 3-2. It was a lot closer than maybe the first 45 showed, but they're under pressure. They certainly are under pressure, and they just need maybe one or two key players back in the squad. Are they in danger of relegation? I think so, definitely. I know Burscough are sort of the team, and I think it's 4 points difference between them at the moment. And when you look at the teams around them, I know they've got to play Ashton, who are bottom FC Isle of Man, so hopefully they'll get some results there, because they're only on 13 points at the moment. And then I think it's Winsford as well they've got to play in the next few weeks. So it's there for them to get out of it. And if they don't beat sort of those two teams, then maybe are going to be relegated. But after last season, the way it all went right for them, it was unbelievable. We had some great occasions down at the Bowl, and we just want a little bit more of that. And all I can say to anyone out there looking for something to do tomorrow night, get yourself down the Bowl, and let's support on our Isle of Man players, and hopefully they can do the business and give them the scoreline they want.
Would a season, let's say they were relegated next year, would they benefit from a season doing well in Division 1 next season, or struggling again in the Premier Division next year? What would benefit FC Isle of Man? I think they want to stay in the Premiership. I don't know 100%, Dave, but what I was told was if they get out of this league, then suddenly the costs go up. If they get out of the league going up, the costs reduce dramatically for them, so they don't have to find the ridiculous money that they have to do at the moment. Because midweek, when you look at it, you've got potentially, Dave, between 20 and 25 people flights over, and 25 people in hotel rooms, which is great for economy even in the UK, but it's absolutely crippling to any sporting organisation. And they're lucky they've got some great sponsors like Connors Trust, Manx Telecom as well, and others who all sort of chip in. But it's the crowd where the nucleus of the cash comes from. And I know a few people have said, it's gone up a little bit from last year. It's gone up £2. You look at your grocery bill, that's gone up even more. Look at your fuel bill. So really, the grand scheme of things, it's not gone up hugely. Okay, I'm going to bring Ben in now. Ben Cunningham, our hockey representative. Would an FC Isle of Man type hockey team has that ever been discussed? Do you know? I mean, I'm putting you on the spot here, but is that anything that would possibly ever happen? And I mention this because you're talking about the cost, etc., Tony. Maybe I can bring Dave Christian in as well, because they also, we talk about FC Isle of Man every week. Douglas go away week in, week out. They do the same thing with rugby. So first of all, the hockey situation, would that ever be on the table?
I mean, we have our island junior teams and senior teams. So I guess really you could say that's like kind of our side of the Isle of Man team, because they go away, but it's not made of just one club. It's made of all the players from all other clubs, like FC Isle of Man is. But I think really looking at the way we are, at the minute with the way our island teams are, I think that's really our FC Isle of Man.
Mm-hmm. And how many teams are we sending away generally? I mean, because it goes from youth to senior level.
Yeah, it goes from youth to senior level. So we've got under 12s, under 14s, under 16s, under 18s. I think we have an under 21s. I might be wrong on that one. And then obviously we have our senior, but they're both male and female. And
I don't know if you're in a position to answer this question, but how does funding work?
We've got sponsorship from Oak, who helps sponsor. So I'm guessing they help in the way of sponsoring, like travel and that. But most of the time it is a case of they go on the overnight boat, they travel there, and then obviously they come back on the overnight boat. But it's like last week we had the island teams away, but they went away and they came back on the overnight boat, and then they were straight back to their, school, back to their...
Do any of the players have to fund their own travel?
I don't know that one.
Okay, that's fine. Well, but then again, they're not doing as much travelling as FC Isle of Man, I would imagine.
Oh, no. FC Isle of Man are doing a lot more travelling than what our junior teams and senior teams are doing. But, I mean, they're travelling away, but not as much as like FC Isle of Man. They're not going away midweek. It's just, once every month, near enough.
Okay, we've got to look ahead to the weekend. Briefly, I've been trying to pull up the fixtures and I can't. What are the big games in Manx football tomorrow?
There you go. You've got the fixtures there, Dave.
Right, okay.
There'll be a copy on their email for you, but there's some belters there. The one that I'm going to cover is Uni Mills against Laxey. Uni Mills, I know you've spotted it. They're on a bit of a struggle at the moment, bit of a decline, but hopefully they can get something out of that.
That's a bounce backable, isn't it? Potential.
I'm not so sure. The only thing is tomorrow I'm looking at the team squad for Laxey is Glenn Walker's not available, so they've got to bring another person in goal. I noticed Sammy Gelling's in, so that's a massive plus. Tom Smith I think will be there. Brodie Patience hopefully will be there. So that builds well for a squad. But when you look at Union Mills, they're still high up in the league, but they're still they're in the Railway Cup semi-finals whenever we can get them played. But it's a big ask for them. But
any insight into what's kind of happened at Union Mills?
I don't really know. I noticed just before Christmas that there was a few players left the club, but they weren't first team players. So whether they thought they weren't getting a shout with it, but everything was going great for Paul Guyver. He must have thought, I've won the pools here, and they just were talking about going to be possibly winning the league. Now, when you look at it, I think Peel are ahead by 11 points. I know Corinthians have games in hand, but Corinthians dropped silly points against Marown, so it's all suddenly changed.
Peel have got them in the bag, so
yeah, definitely.
Okay, we must mention the fact that there's a massive Western derby tomorrow, St John's against Peel. No chance of that being played tonight?
No, well, what it is, Dave, at the start of the season, we ask clubs if they want to play on a Friday night. It has to be at the start.
Okay.
You can't pick and choose.
Yeah.
And Peel aren't interested. And I'm being honest.
Fair enough.
They've always said they're not being interested. And there's only 3 or 4 clubs who do it because the way they look at it, the Saturday they can go play, have a couple of beers, go home, job done. Friday night, some are working Saturday, so you miss out on that. But I agree with you, a big game, but I still think Peel are clear favourites.
Okay, the rest of them, you're kind of looking, Ramsey should win, Corinthians should beat Onken. Just going into Division 2, Jim, St Mary's.
There's nothing big there.
There's nothing really, sticking out in there, and the same with the combination. And then we've got fixtures on Sunday as well, but we'll come back to you in a second, Tony. That's all right. We'll go to what's the big game in hockey this weekend, Ben?
We've got quite a few big games coming up this weekend. So, Ladies Premier, we see Backers A against Valkyries A, Vikings against Castertown B. Valkyries and Vikings A both played midweek against each other, so it'll be interesting to see how they play out, having played midweek. Ladies Div 1, we've got a big game in that one. Top of the league, Harlequins A against second place Ramsey A. That'll be a really big game, that.
But you've got games off though, haven't you?
Yeah, unfortunately, with the island teams going away, of course, they've got players which are going away. So with the rules, games are being postponed, but they're getting rescheduled because obviously players have been taken away from the game happening. So we've got Vikings Men's A against Ramsey Men's A. Off, and that's going to now be played on Tuesday the 14th at 8:30 at the NSC. Valkyries A against Backers A is also off, and that's going to be played on Wednesday at 8:30 at the NSC. And then Castletown Savers against Harlequins under-15s is off yet again for the same reason. Castletown have got 6 players away for the under-14s this weekend. So by the rules, they're quite entitled to say, look, we haven't got our team, can we reschedule? So that's going to get played over some point next week. There's no date confirmed on that one yet.
But the good thing is you can play them under the lights. Is there any difference, just briefly, about playing on a Saturday afternoon or playing?
I love midweek games. I umpired one last weekend, and it's just a buzz, just playing under the lights.
Yeah.
It's just a bit more. Ooh.
Okay, we're going to take a momentary break. We go to rugby next. We're going to join Dave Christian.
Manx Radio Sport.
And hopefully at the end of this line is Dave Christian. Good evening, Dave.
How are we?
Oh, just about catching you there, Dave. Can you speak again?
Yes. How are you?
I was glad to say coming through loud and clear. There's a little bit of interference on the line. We'll give you a moment, Dave. See if you can come through and take it from there.
Okay. 2 fixtures for senior men's. The English Clubs Championship. Douglas host Bowden at Portashee. Vagabonds host Garstang at Ballafletcher. Both are tough games. Bowden have been going really
Sorry, Dave.
well.
I don't know if you can hear us. Unfortunately, it's sounding again a bit like a Norman Collier routine, and you're coming in and out. Hopefully, we'll try and get you back in. It sounds as if you may have a loose connection or something. There's a little bit of buzz, then it clears and what have you. So, sorry, Dave. We'll come back to you very soon, hopefully, if you can have a little mess around, because we'd love to bring you back into the programme. But we'll come back again to Tony Mepham and Ben Cunningham. First of all, coaching I want to talk about.
Yep.
If that's to be a coach in football and to be a coach in hockey, is it expensive?
I don't think it's expensive because I don't know about Ben in hockey, but certainly in football, most of the clubs support their coaches unbelievably. And I wouldn't say there's a caveat on it, but just say, well, we're paying for it. As long as you're going to be there for a couple of years after you've qualified, then that's it, done deal, and everyone leaves happy faces. But the massive thing now, and I'm pretty certain that Ben's involved in it as well, safeguarding, DBS checks, everything else, it's got to be done, Dave. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, I know parents out there say, well, I'd love to get involved with the coach, but I'm not going to go down that path. It's so easy to do. It can be done online, and it just gives you that comfort that you are covered your
mm-hmm.
way, and the parents whose son or daughter is training with you, they're covered as well. It's regulation now.
You're echoing that, Ben?
Yeah, I can't echo it any more than what Tony's just said. It's the same for the umpires as well. For us, all of them have got to be DBS checked because obviously they're umpiring junior league games and that. But it's like Tony says, it's just that having that reassurance, everything's covered and going forward. And like Tony was saying, clubs, help support
financially.
Yeah, exactly. So if they've got people willing to do it, they'll go, right, well, we're happy to support you. We'll help you along the way and help fund it a bit for you. But obviously, you've got to have people that show that commitment, because if they show that commitment and then as soon as they pass, they go, oh, I'm not bothered now. That's when people start, getting a bit, well, what was the point of that? But I echo what Tony's just said.
What about, okay, if it's affordable, what about the time involved? Because I think years ago, I remember your coaching one badge was a weekend, and then the second one, I think you had to do 2 weeks. You had to take 2 weeks off to do. That was a lot. I'm going back about 20 years there. But what's the situation now? Yeah,
I think it's been streamlined a little bit. Ben Qualtro's doing one at the moment, which is great to see, and then they're going to do another one, hopefully.
So when you say Ben Qualtro's doing one, what do you mean?
He does the coach. He's a fully qualified coach, and he can put the coaching courses on, and it all sort of goes through spot on. It goes really well, and he's a fantastic coach with so much respect by a lot of people out there. But it's just as Ben says, it's having that person who has that desire to continue it through, because you've done it, Dave, with your own daughter, and a lot of people follow through with their own child, and then when their own child, say maybe 16, calls it a day or goes into senior football, they stop. Well, you've got that gift, why not just put a little bit back in? And there's no real pressure, I don't think. It's just, if you say you're going to do it, do it, not this, pitch in when it suits you and come out when you want to go and watch football or something like that. It's hard. It's
Okay.
odd.
Yeah.
And with hockey, is it similar? I mean, I don't obviously don't know with the football coaching, but is it to gain your
Yeah,
qualifications?
so we've got like a level 1 course which is ran through England Hockey, and they provide so much information and that to help you along your way, and they if ever you've got questions, there's always like emails you can contact for help or ask them questions and that. And then from there on, you can go and do your level 2. So that's a bit more of an advanced course. But it's as Tony says, it's getting the commitment definitely from the person, saying, right, I've got my level 1 now. As Tony was saying, oh, me daughter's now, or my son's playing senior hockey now. I'm just gonna go and just stand and watch now. I'm not gonna help. But obviously, because they wanted to see their daughter or son progress in the club, they wanted to help. I mean, the club I play for, I know we've got so many parents and that are happy to because some weeks like the managers are also players as well, and they were it's like, oh, that game clashes with that game, so I can't be there, but we've got parents DBS checked and everything, and willing to step in, so it allows other player managers to go and be able to play.
Is that the big thing then? DBS check is. I mean, not about it, but I mean, what in football for someone to stand on the touchline and be involved and have responsibility for a team, what do they need to do?
Well, it's huge, Dave, and just look at say the bowl. If you've got the under 6s to playing down there or under 8s, no parents are allowed on the pitch.
That's right.
The parents stay in the stands. Everyone that is down there, coaching everything, have all got lanyards, to wear. There are FA checks on it as well. We have to do it.
Yeah,
it's what's expected.
I don't think anyone out there is not, but
well, you maybe ask some parents, Dave, because I've noticed that disciplinary issues a little bit have crept up of late, and that competitive parent does come into play quite a few times, and the children are there primarily to learn how to play the sport, but the biggest thing, Dave, is enjoyment.
Exactly, yeah.
And they've got to have that enjoyment, and if parents are there having a little snipe or whatever, an FA official, because he's only doing his job, then it doesn't work that way. But clubs are fantastic, but we need more people, like any sport, not just hockey, football, rugby, to come in and give a bit of time to help develop that sport and their child.
Couldn't agree more. It's exactly the same with the juniors for us. Everyone's DBS checked. I mean, we don't have the lanyards like Tony was saying, but everyone's DBS checked, and of course, it's all documented in every club.
Right, we're going to try Dave Christian one more time and see if we got sorted,
but
we will come back, and I've got some more stuff to talk about if unfortunately we can't get Dave. Dave Christian, let's give you one more go, see if we can look ahead to this weekend's rugby.
Yeah, I'm on the last chance saloon now, Dave. Yeah, we've got 4 fixtures this weekend, 2 in the English Clubs Championship, 1 in the Women's League, and 1 in the domestic Ravenscroft Manx Trophy. In North West Regional 2, Douglas take on Bowden at Portashee. Kick off at 2 o'clock down there for that one. It's going to be a tough one for Douglas. Bowden are 5 from 5 in their last 5 outings. Douglas not enjoying the best of form this season and struggling a little bit at the bottom end of the table. They've only got 5 fixtures left. They need a win. It may come this weekend, but it looks unlikely if you take the league table into account. A good strong side, though, named for Douglas. Changes in the back row. Craig McGee comes in, and Mark McGee's in there, and Percy Hampton as well. They were hoping for Neil Killier, but he's not available, so they're going with the McGee brothers. Change around in the centres as well. Bryn Snellgrove's going to be in at 10. Jack Shimon will partner Aidan O'Shea in the midfield, and Carl Martin in at fullback. They've given Percy Hampton another run out as well. He's just transferred over from Southern Nomads. Obviously impressed them enough in the away game. He's going to get a shot at home. Up at Ballyfletcher, Vagabonds entertain Garstang. Garstang are in 3rd place. Vagabonds are bottom. They only have 4 games left. They desperately need points, and the form book again suggests that they're not going to get them this weekend. Garstang is still in with a shot for promotion, and they'll have their foot firmly on the pedal. No team news out from Portashee as yet, but that game up there kicks off at 2:15. On the adjacent pitch at Ballyfletcher, we've got Vagabonds ladies in action. That's the game we're covering for Saturday Live. That kicks off at 1 o'clock. It's against Broughton Park. Vagabonds are 4th in the standings, Broughton Park are 5th, and there's only a point between them. Should be a right old ding-dong. The game away at Broughton Park earlier this season, the home side got that one, but it was pretty close. Team news for Vagabonds, pretty much unchanged. Good news for them is Corinna Daly comes back in. I always fancy her at number 8, but they're going with her at loosehead prop. When she carries the ball in broken play, she's very disruptive and will penetrate the defence. But they're going with her at loosehead prop tomorrow. All the other names are there. I'm expecting big games from Jules Harrison in the midfield and Sophie Henry in the back row as well. Kick-off for that one at Balafletcher, 1 o'clock. And then there's just one fixture in the Ravenscroft Manx Trophy. There should have been 2. The game at Castletown has been postponed. So the only game in town is at the Muirach Park in Ramsey. Kick-off 2:15. And it's Ramsey's Blues will be taking on the combination of Western Vikings and Southern Nomads Whites. Tricky to say which way this will go. Down at Southern Nomads 2 weeks ago, the Blues put up a good fight, but ultimately lost the game in the opening 20 minutes when Nomads racked up 22 points without reply. I have a fancy that it'll be a little bit stronger there at the Muirach Park tomorrow, and the game might be even closer. Kick-off there, as I said, 2:15.
Thanks, Dave Christian, reporting for Manx Radio Sport. We've got 3 minutes left, and the last little subject I want to tackle is umpires. I gather you don't have much of a problem getting umpires in hockey, or?
It depends really on availability, because, like I say, we've got umpires that play as well as umpire. But it also helps if they're not working. But obviously, work commitments and that can come in. I mean, this weekend we've been really good. We've got full umpires all sorted for every fixture. But
how long does it take to become an umpire?
There's a course that you go on. It's like
on Ireland.
It can be someone comes across from the UK, and it's like a day course. The last one I think got done at King William's College. So it's like the mornings, like classroom, sit down, you watch videos and that, and then in the afternoon you go out and you actually have a go on the pitch with like the people you're training with. They'll play and then you umpire it and swaps over.
And do the umpires get paid on a Saturday?
Yeah, there is a payment for the umpires. I think it's £10 a game, and then
that's going to cover petrol and stuff. I would imagine.
It covers the fuel mileage as well.
Okay, football though.
Yep.
Well, how's it looking at the moment?
We're struggling a little bit at the moment. We've been able to cover most of the games. We can bring in auxiliary referees, which is basically no qualification. It's just both clubs agreeing. But the top teams won't do that. It was funny, we discussed it on Tuesday, and we're just about to...
This is at the FA?
Yeah, this is the FA. We're about to look to maybe increase the referees' money substantially. Just listening to Ben there, what hockey pay. At the moment, we pay £28, and we're looking to... They get fuel money as well, travelling expenses, but we're looking to put it up a fair bit. We don't know at the moment because we're in discussions, but we just feel that it may help people come in to do it. But when you look at sort of poacher cum gamekeeper, Rob Sling at the moment is probably one of the rising stars in officiating in Manx football, and he's just been able to referee now premierships games, and that's brilliant within 2 years, and credit to him. But it's all sports need it, but unfortunately with football, maybe not as much as hockey, this back chat has to stop because that's what turns the referees away.
Very quickly, we've got about 20 seconds. And more women referees. I think you've got a couple so far.
Yeah, we've got 2. Ginny Doyle, she's doing a great job. She's brilliant, but she plays the game, so she was halfway there before she started. And that's about it at the moment. I know Jo Hicks, she's struggling in injury, but there's good numbers there.
Great stuff. Well, boys, thanks for your company yet again. Fingers crossed for another great weekend of sporting action here in the Isle of Man. Same to Dave Christian as well with rugby. That's it. Make sure you join us again on Manx Radio tomorrow. It's now 6:30. Up next, Chris Kinley.